Indian tradition has been rested on Shruti and Smriti. So in ancient period, only yesterday we had a discussion where I was told that written texts were supposed to be a disqualification for a scholar. He was supposed to be either Shruti or Smriti. So that is the tradition which went through over the ages, because we never believed on written text in the ancient period. That is why we did not have so many manuscripts, written manuscripts in the ancient period. So when it is Shruti and Smriti, it is also an interpretation which is learned, heard, and understood by the disciple. So the meaning of a particular shlok or a sukti or a verse can differ depending upon the understanding of the disciple and then how he or she teaches to the next generation. So that is the beauty of Indian philosophy. And that is why we have so many variations, the variation which you were talking about. So it's not simple mathematics 2 plus 2, 4. It's multi-dimensional. Only a couple of days back I was watching some video which was saying that the physicist who got the Nobel Award for quantum physics, the analysis which they did was that the whole world is illusion. And it depends on how one perceives it. That is the concept of Brahman. What is truth for me? For me, the truth is this room. Because I am seeing this world only within this room. So I am not seeing the world beyond this room. So for me, Brahma is entirely situated in this room. That's Indian philosophy. So when we see this, the truth can be interpreted in different forms, different senses, different dimensions, depending upon the eyes of the perceiver. So you see Gita in that context and I see Gita in my context. So that is all relative. And that is why you very rightly said, we always depending upon the argument, arguing each other. Because we believed in Vade Vade Jayate Tattva Bodha. Unfortunately, in present context, it is Vade Vade Jayate Kantha Shosha. It's not Tattva Bodha, because Tattva is lost. And we have misunderstood the meaning of Vad. Now it has changed into Vivad and Vitandavad. That has to be Vad. Had there been Vad, there would not have been any problem as far as the truth is concerned. So in that context, I really appreciate the way you have interpreted the words and given us the proper meanings of some interpretations. But as someone who believes on Indian philosophy, I can always say that there can be many more multiple versions of the fact which you have tried to point it out.
Shruti Smriti Puranadi Panchavatriki Vidim Vina.
Yes. so that's the line. And when we say about discovery, as you initially pointed out in your lecture, we always see what is darkness. Darkness is absence of light. So what is discovery? Thing which was not seen by me or understood by me. Now since I have understood, I have discovered something. That's the
real discovery.
That's the real discovery.
That's what you're saying.
That's the real discovery.
And so just one thing to what you said is that in adding to that is adhikari. So there are different levels of adhikari, right? And so this is what we need to think about. Having a single book doesn't eliminate all the other books, but it gives you a starting point. And if everyone says, yes, that's the starting point, then they don't get the student confused too soon by their many choices.
Yeah.
This is why the Western world has gone to emptiness or oneness, and they've jumped right to it. They started practicing yoga. It was too much to think about to study the Vedas, so they went, it's all one. It's all empty. And if someone says to me, it's all empty, I say, what is? And they lose.
They lose.
Because it's got to be something. It can't be empty if it's a something. You can't tell me it's all one because you aren't you then. So you're just being illiterate. You aren't saying what you really mean. You're making sloppy English statement that ruins the meaning of the Sanskrit. That is the problem. Anyway.
No.
What you say is so true.
So,
But we
so
have
no,
to be
the
careful.
problem, what I am trying to underline here is that, and as you rightly pointed, I was coming to that.
Good.
That was way of our thinking in the ancient period. Unfortunately, we lost track of our own education systems.
That's right.
And where we lost the track. We had full capability of arguing and realizing the facts, realizing the thing in our own senses. But unfortunately, when we went in the track of regimentation of education, which was the European construct, unfortunately, we lost the track of really becoming a thinking Indian, thinking intellect, which was our stronghold. I was coming to that point only. There is a need to come back. And why there is a need to come back? It was very nicely elaborated on this 15th of August speech by our Honorable Prime Minister, when he declared Panchapran, 5 vows to the countrymen. And the second vow was decolonize. And decolonize means, unfortunately, not getting rid of wearing ties and coat and pant, but decolonizing mind. Efforts like this would definitely help us in decolonizing our mind and thinking afresh in terms of our own capabilities and traditions. And if we start doing that, definitely we are going to reach to that level of knowledge and wisdom. When we see the Western context, there is one heart. I don't think there are multiple words for mana, chitta. Where is mana? Where is chitta? I don't see those things exist in their philosophy and context, which exist in our, or the levels of wisdom, which is pragya, medha, where are they? But we have those levels of wisdom. By just saying he is a wise person does not satisfy the Indian construct. Is he a medhavan? Is he a pragyavan? Is he a pragyachakshu? Who has all the eyes of wisdom. So we have those enlightenment stages in our philosophy. And once we follow the right track of understanding the nuances of our own philosophy, definitely we are going to move ahead in the right direction. As for someone who is nearing 60 or 55 or something like that, would not matter. But someone who is just entering into this academic arena, maybe 25 or 30 years of age, and who has to go a long way in understanding, definitely this kind of work is going to help a lot to that youngster. So I must thank you for your great effort and bringing such a wonderful book. I did not have much of chance to read this book, but I'll definitely go through this book. One big project which IGNC is doing, because you have referred to Sri Nilesh Oak, and he has written much about the chronology of Mahabharata and the point which you were raising to. When we are talking about the chronology, we are talking about the physical facts, the real facts, that is the dating of Mahabharata, which we need to determine so that we come to one point of conclusion, and then we can counter the narrative which is being told by the most of the European countries that your every text of yours is a myth and it is not a reality. But as you rightly said, it is not myth, it is itihasa. It has happened. only because we are not in a position to find out the real year, when did it happen, we are unable to counter that argument. Not only Westerners, unfortunately, some of the Indian scholars also try to put this point of view, which is unfortunate. The thing which we call as itihasa, how and why it has been converted into a myth, is also a question which needs to be introspected by us only. So those are important questions which are pertinent and which we need to sort of analyze time and again. Books like this are going to help us, and persons like you who have been taught and trained in some other education system and still are now following the ancient tradition of wisdom which was prevailed in this country is really remarkable. And Jeffrey Armstrong, I must thank you for giving us an opportunity to listen to your thoughts. I must thank other distinguished scholars who have come here, and I hope that our interaction does not end here, but this is a very good beginning which we have started today. Thank you very much.